The night on the frontier planet was long and silent. Outside the research station, the wind moved slowly across dark red soil, carrying fine dust that tapped gently against metal walls. Inside the station, most lights were dimmed to save power. Only one small room still had a soft glow. Ethan Cole lay on his narrow bed, staring at the ceiling. He had been awake for hours. Sleep did not come easily on this planet. The air was safe to breathe, but it felt heavy, as if the world itself pressed down on the mind. He missed Earth more on nights like this. The blue sky, the sound of rain, the feeling that help was always close. Here, help was very far away. Ethan was a human scientist, sent as part of a small team to study this newly discovered world. The planet had no intelligent life, or so the scans said. It was rich in rare minerals and strange plants that glowed faintly at night. The work was important but lonely. Most of the crew slept during different shifts. Sometimes Ethan would go days without a real conversation. He turned on his side and closed his eyes, trying again to sleep. Then he felt it, a change in the air. At first he thought it was a dream. The room felt warmer, not like heat but like presence. Ethan opened his eyes slowly. Someone was standing near his bed. His heart stopped. The figure was small and slim, shaped like a human but clearly not one. Her skin shimmered softly like moonlight on water. Long hair, pale silver, fell down her back. Her eyes were large and deep, glowing faintly blue in the dark. Ethan tried to move. His body refused. The figure took a quiet step closer. No sound, no fear on her face, only calm. Then, without a word, she slipped onto the edge of his bed. Ethan's breath caught in his chest. Every warning from training screamed in his mind. Unknown life form, unknown intent. Do not approach. Do not provoke, but she did not attack. She looked at him and smiled. It was not a sharp smile or a threatening one. It was warm, almost playful. Then she leaned forward and wrapped her arms around him, holding him tightly. Ethan froze. Her arms were light but strong. He could feel her steady breathing. His mind raced, but his fear slowly faded. Something about her touch felt safe, familiar, even though it made no sense. After a few seconds, Ethan carefully raised his hands. "It's okay," he said softly, more to himself than to her. He placed one hand gently on her shoulder. She did not pull away. Instead, she relaxed, resting her head against his chest. Ethan swallowed hard. This was not in any report. Minutes passed in silence. The station alarms did not sound. No emergency lights flashed. Whatever she was, the station did not see her as a threat. Finally, she pulled back slightly and looked at him again. Her eyes searched his face, studying him closely, as if she were memorizing every detail. "You are human," she said. Her voice was soft, careful. The words were slow, as if she had learned them recently. Ethan blinked. You speak English." "A little," she replied. "I listened for many days." Ethan sat up slowly, careful not to scare her. "Who are you?" She hesitated, then placed a hand over her chest. "Lyra." "Lyra," Ethan repeated. "I'm Ethan," she nodded, pleased. "Ethan." For the first time, Ethan noticed how tired she looked. There were faint marks on her arms, like old burns. Her movements were graceful but weak, as if she had pushed herself too far. "Are you hurt?" Ethan asked. Lyra shook her head. "Not now, but I was." Ethan reached for the small lamp beside his bed and turned it on. The soft light filled the room. Lyra flinched at first, then relaxed. "You're not from this planet," Ethan said. "No," Lyra replied. "My world is gone." The words were simple, but the pain behind them was deep. Ethan felt something tighten in his chest. He had studied dead planets before. He knew what loss on that scale meant. "How did you get here?" he asked. "I followed the quiet," Lyra said. "Your people are loud in the stars. But you are quiet here, alone." Ethan gave a small, sad smile. "That sounds like humans." Lyra tilted her head. "You are different from others." "How?" "You stay," she said, "even when it is hard." Ethan did not know how to answer that. A low hum echoed through the station. The wind outside grew stronger. Lyra's expression changed. The calm faded, replaced by fear. "They are close," she said. "Who?" Ethan asked. "The hunters." Ethan stood up quickly. "Hunters. They search for me," Lyra said. "For what I am." "What are you?" Ethan asked gently. Lyra looked down at her hands. A key, a weapon, a mistake. Ethan did not like the sound of that. Suddenly, the station sensors beeped quietly. Ethan moved to the console near the wall and checked the readings. Unknown ships, 3 of them, no transponder signals. His blood ran cold. "We're not armed for a fight," Ethan muttered. Lyra stepped closer. "I did not mean to bring danger to you." Ethan looked at her, small, alone, carrying the weight of a lost world. "You didn't," he said firmly. "They would come anyway. Humans don't run." Lyra met his eyes. "You are not afraid." "I am," Ethan said honestly. "But fear doesn't decide what's right." Lyra seemed surprised by that. Then she smiled again, softer this time. Ethan moved quickly, activating emergency protocols. He sent a quiet signal to the rest of the crew, not a panic call, just a warning. "We'll hide you," he said, "and if they come inside, we'll deal with it." Lyra hesitated. "They are strong." "So are we," Ethan replied. Outside, the stars shifted as the unknown ships moved into orbit. They were sleek and dark, like shadows against space. Inside the station, humans prepared with limited tools and sharp minds. Old defense drones were repaired. Energy doors were reinforced. Every person had a role. Lyra watched in silence as Ethan worked. She saw how quickly humans adapted. No shouting, no chaos, just focus. "You trust each other," she said. "We have to," Ethan replied. "That's how we survive." The first hunters arrived at the station doors, tall, armored. Their voices echoed through the walls in a harsh, alien language. Lyra's body tensed. Ethan stepped closer to her. "You're safe here." "For now," she said. The hunters demanded entry. Ethan refused. What followed was not a battle of strength but of minds, traps activated. Lights failed. Hallways shifted. The hunters were slowed, confused, separated. Lyra watched as humans outsmarted enemies who were stronger and better armed. "Why do you fight for me?" she asked Ethan as alarms echoed around them. "Because no one deserves to be hunted for existing," Ethan said. The hunters eventually retreated, damaged and angry. Their final message was clear. They would return. Silence fell over the station again. Lyra exhaled slowly. "They will not stop." "Neither will we," Ethan replied. Later that night, exhaustion finally caught up to them. Lyra stood at the doorway of Ethan's room. "May I stay?" Ethan nodded. "You don't have to ask." She slipped back into his bed, smiling boldly, holding him tight once more. Not from fear this time, but trust. Outside, the stars watched quietly. Humanity had made a choice, and the galaxy would feel it soon. Morning came slowly to the research station. The red light of the distant sun filtered through the reinforced windows, casting long shadows across the metal floors. After the night's danger, the silence felt heavy, as if the station itself was holding its breath. Ethan sat at the small table in the common room, reading sensor reports. His eyes were tired, but his mind stayed sharp. The hunters' ships were still in orbit, far enough to avoid detection by long-range scans, but close enough to return at any moment. Across the room, Lyra stood near the window. She watched the sky with quiet focus. Her silver hair reflected the morning light and her glowing eyes dimmed slightly as if conserving energy. She had not slept much. "You should rest," Ethan said gently. Lyra turned to him. "I do not sleep the way humans do." "That figures," Ethan replied with a small smile. Other crew members moved around them. There were only 12 humans on the station. Engineers, scientists, medics. None of them were soldiers, but every one of them had chosen to stay when the warning came. No one asked to leave Lyra behind. Dr. Harris, the station's lead engineer, approached Ethan. "We've reinforced the inner corridors and rerouted power. If they breach again, they won't move easily." "How long can we hold?" Ethan asked. Harris shrugged. Against ships like those, not long, but we can slow them, maybe long enough for help. Help is weeks away, Ethan said. Then we make weeks feel like years, Harris replied. Lyra listened quietly. They will change tactics, she said. They always do. Ethan looked at her. What do you know about them? Lyra hesitated, then nodded slowly. They are called the Verk. They hunt rare beings, they sell us, use us, study us. And you? Ethan asked. Lyra's hands clenched. My kind could open paths in space. We could travel without gates, without ships. That made us valuable. Ethan's jaw tightened. So they destroyed your world for profit. Yes, Lyra said softly. I escaped because they thought I was weak. Ethan stood up. They were wrong. Lyra met his gaze. You believe that? I do, he said, and so do they now. Later that day, Ethan and Lyra worked together in the lab. He showed her human technology, explaining each tool in simple terms. She learned quickly, asking careful questions. In return, she showed him small glimpses of her abilities. She could sense energy fields, feel shifts in space that humans could not detect. You're like a living sensor, Ethan said. Lyra smiled faintly. And you are very loud thinkers. Ethan laughed. It felt good. Normal almost, but the peace did not last. The station alarm sounded softly. Not a full alert, but enough to raise tension. They're moving, Harris said over the comm. Ethan checked the display. One Verk ship was breaking orbit, moving closer. They're testing us, Ethan said. Lyra stepped closer to him. They are curious now. Good, Ethan replied. Curiosity can be used. Ethan gathered the crew. They spoke quickly, calmly. A plan formed. It was risky, but humans had survived worse. When the Verk ship docked with the outer bay, the station appeared empty. Lights were off, doors unresponsive. Inside, the Verk hunters moved carefully. They expected resistance. Instead, they found confusion. Gravity shifted unexpectedly. Floors tilted. Hallways looped back on themselves. Old mining drones activated, not attacking directly, but blocking paths and forcing the hunters into narrow spaces. Ethan watched from the control room, guiding the traps. They're frustrated, Harris said. Good. Lyra closed her eyes, focusing. They are angry, but they are afraid too. Afraid? Ethan asked. They do not understand you, Lyra said. You should not resist. That's kind of our thing, Ethan replied. One hunter managed to break through into the inner lab. Ethan moved quickly. He stood in the open doorway, hands visible. The hunter raised its weapon but hesitated. You're on human ground, Ethan said slowly. You don't own this place. The hunter spoke in a harsh voice. Give us the girl. No, Ethan said. You will die, the hunter replied. Maybe, Ethan said, but not alone. Lyra stepped beside him. Her eyes glowed brighter. The air hummed. The hunter stepped back. You are stronger here, the hunter said to Lyra. I am not alone, Lyra replied. Energy surged briefly. Not an attack, but a warning. The hunter retreated. Minutes later, the Verk ship undocked and pulled away again. Cheers echoed softly through the station. Not loud, controlled, relieved. But Ethan knew this was not over. That night, Ethan sat alone in his room, staring at a hologram of Earth. Lyra entered quietly and sat beside him. You miss it, she said. Yeah, Ethan replied. But right now, this is home. Lyra considered that. My people believed home was a place. Humans believe it is a choice. Ethan smiled. We're stubborn like that. Lyra leaned closer. Ethan, if I stay, they will keep coming. Ethan looked at her. If you leave, they'll chase you. Either way, danger exists. Lyra nodded slowly. Then I choose to stay. Ethan felt a warmth spread through his chest. Then you're part of this crew. Lyra smiled boldly and held his hand. I like that. Outside, the Verk ships waited in the dark. Inside, humanity prepared, not with fear, but with resolve. The stars above the research station looked calm, almost peaceful. That calm was false. Ethan knew it. Everyone on the station knew it. The Verk ships had not left. They had only moved farther out, hiding in the dark, waiting. Humans waited too. The station had changed in the last few days. It was no longer just a place of research. It was a shield. Every corridor had been adjusted. Every system was pushed beyond what it was meant to do. The crew worked together without complaint, without panic. They were tired, but their eyes were steady. Lyra stood in the central control room, her hands resting lightly on the console. Her eyes were closed. Thin lines of soft light moved across the screens, reacting to her presence. Ethan watched her with quiet respect. She was no longer just someone they protected, she had become part of their defense. "They are forming up," Lyra said softly, "all of them." "How many?" Ethan asked. "7 ships," she replied, "more hunters than before." Dr. Harris let out a slow breath. "That's it then." "They're done playing," Ethan nodded. "So are we." He opened the crew channel, his voice was calm and clear. "This is it. You all know the plan, stick to your roles, trust each other. No matter what happens, remember this, humans do not give up people who stand with us." No one argued, no one hesitated. The Verk fleet moved in. This time they did not ask for entry. Energy blasts struck the station's outer shields. The metal walls shook. Warning lights flashed red. "Shields at 60%, Harris called out. "Root auxiliary power," Ethan said. "All non-essential systems off." Lyra stepped forward. "I can strengthen the shields," she said, "but it will cost me." Ethan turned to her immediately. "How much?" Lyra met his eyes. "A lot." Ethan shook his head. "Not alone. We do this together." Lyra placed her hand on his chest, feeling his steady heartbeat. "That is why humans are dangerous," she said softly. The Verk ships moved closer, firing again. The shields flared bright blue, then dimmed. 30%, Harris shouted. "Now," Ethan said. Lyra closed her eyes. The air in the room changed. It felt thicker, charged. Lights flickered, then stabilized. Energy flowed through the station in a way no human technology could explain. The shields brightened, stronger than before. The Verk paused. "They did not expect this," Lyra whispered. "They never do," Ethan replied. Boarding pods launched from the enemy ships, slamming into the station's hull. "They're inside," a crew member reported. Ethan moved quickly through the corridors with a small team. Lyra stayed linked to the station, guiding energy where it was needed most. The Verk hunters poured into the halls, weapons raised. They were larger than humans, armored, confident. That confidence faded fast. Doors sealed at the right moments. Gravity shifted. Hunters were pinned, disoriented. Humans moved with precision, using stun weapons and clever traps. No wasted motion. No fear-driven mistakes. Ethan faced one hunter directly. The alien raised its weapon, but Ethan was faster. He activated a pulse trap, disabling the armor. The hunter fell stunned. "You could have killed me," the hunter growled. Ethan looked down at it. "We don't need to." That confused them more than violence ever could. Across the station, Lyra felt the strain building. Her energy wove through human systems, amplifying them, bending them in ways that should not be possible. Sweat formed on her brow. Her breathing grew shallow. Ethan felt it too, through the quiet connection they had formed. "Lyra," he said through the calm. "Pull back if you need to." "If I stop," she replied, "they will break through." "Then we end this," Ethan said. He opened a channel to the Verk fleet. "This is a human station," he said clearly. "You came here for one being, you will leave with nothing." A Verk commander responded. "You are weak, you protect what you cannot keep." Ethan smiled slightly. "That's where you're wrong." Lyra focused deeper than ever before. She reached into herself, into what remained of her people's gift. Space around the station shifted. Not tearing, bending, the Verk ships began to drift. "Commander," one hunter shouted, "our navigation is failing." Human engineers worked fast, syncing their systems to Lyra's energy. Together, human code and alien power created something new, a controlled space distortion. The Verk ships were pushed back, not destroyed, but displaced far from the station, far from Lyra. The strain was too much. Lyra cried out and collapsed. Ethan ran. He caught her before she hit the floor. She was light in his arms, her glow fading rapidly. Lyra, he said urgently, stay with me. Her eyes opened slightly. Did we win? Yes, Ethan said. They're gone. A weak smile touched her lips. Humans are very stubborn. Medics rushed in. They worked quickly, carefully. Lyra's energy levels were dangerously low but stable. Hours passed. The station was quiet again. Ethan sat beside Lyra's bed in the medical bay. He did not leave. He did not sleep. Finally, Lyra stirred. Her eyes opened slowly. You stayed, Ethan nodded. Of course. The hunters, she asked. They won't be back, Ethan said. We made sure of that. Lyra exhaled, relief washing over her. Then I am safe. Yes, Ethan replied. You are. Lyra reached out, taking his hand. Her grip was weak but warm. Then this is my home now. Ethan felt emotion rise in his chest, strong and sudden. We'd be honored. Days later, the station returned to its original purpose, but nothing felt the same. Humanity had taken its first real stand, not with conquest, but with protection. Word would spread, slowly at first. Then faster. Humans were not the strongest. They were not the most advanced. But they were loyal. And once they chose someone as their own, they did not let go. That night, under quiet stars, Lyra slipped into Ethan's bed once more. She smiled boldly, held him tight, not in fear, not in desperation, but in peace. The galaxy had learned something new. Humanity was not alone anymore. And neither was Lyra.